You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba here on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth, back here for another week of this newscast. It's going to be a lot of fun today. Not the same type of lineup we had last week, where we had 6 guests in total joining us in 2 segments, but we're actually only going to be doing 1 segment today, and then we're going to do a special reveal later on after that interview. But the guest joining me today, if you read the description, it's Bill Johnson, Executive Director of Football Manitoba. Bill, he was supposed to join me last week, but there was some miscommunication mainly on my end. But yeah, we got him on the show today. He's backstage right now. We're going to add him in after the intro. But yeah, today Bill is going to join me to just talk about the updates with Football Manitoba and just what's been going on for them through these COVID-19 times since the last time that I talked to him on Coffee with Graeme, another show here on the network. So you know what time it is, Manitoba. It's time to rise and shine here on ASTV Productions. Joining me now is Bill Johnson, Executive Director of Football Manitoba. Bill, how's it going on this Monday morning?
It's beautiful. It's a lovely day outside. I'm looking forward to getting out and enjoying some sunshine later on today.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Always a nice time when you get to enjoy some sunshine, go out for a nice walk, maybe go for a bike ride, stuff like that, of course, following the COVID-19 protocols, of course. But yeah, it's great to have you on, Bill. Last time I talked to you, man, I can't even remember. It was on Coffee with Graeme. It's like back in September or something like that. It's great to have you back on another show, Rise and Shine Manitoba, now to just talk about the updates, what's been going on with Football Manitoba. So with the new health guidelines that have been put out, the restrictions, just what does that do for you guys in terms of the schedule you guys are on to having some leagues starting up here in the summer?
Well, we were quite confident that we would be able to unveil our new return to play protocols actually beginning in May. May 1st was our goal. As you know, I guess as everyone knows in the province now, we experience some setbacks in terms of COVID cases and numbers here. So we've kind of put that on hold until the province allows group sizes of a sufficient amount to get people out there training. So right now that's we're on hold with that. Everything is dependent upon group sizing. So if we can get up to groups of 10, we can allow some training. If we can get up to groups of 20, we can maybe even play some 6-a-side tackle football. We can maybe get to that point, hopefully at some point early summer. And then we're hoping in the fall we can fit in some gameplay, some more traditional style football. But of course, everything changes day to day around here. So that's what we're looking at, and we're hopeful.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome that you guys are staying hopeful in times like this, especially when, it's tough times right now for sure for sports, especially. But just talking about the spring season, the spring league season that you guys postponed the start of. So with spring moving along here, is the spring league, if we are able to get back to return to play protocols, stuff like that, is the spring league going to still happen this season?
Yeah, for sure. We actually, so our spring flag football league, we had an unprecedented amount of interest this year. We had 1,600 kids registered
Wow.
for it, which is almost twice what we had last year. So it's
Yeah.
a lot. Obviously, a lot of people want to get out and do things after a very tough winter of being locked in your house. Everyone wants to get out, and football and flag football is a great sport, so people want to get out and play. So we call it our spring season, but last year we started third week of July. This year, I think we'll be starting earlier than that. We'll be starting as soon as regulations allow us to, but we have every intention of going ahead and playing a full season. It's we're looking at some creative ways in terms of scheduling right now to ensure that we get players the same amount of games that they would have had last year in creative ways to make it work. But I mean, I think that's the key to everything with COVID. When you're living through a pandemic, I think we've all learned that flexibility and creativity is the key to it all. Think outside the box a little bit. Things may not look exactly as they've looked in the past, but you can still make things happen.
Yeah, for sure. Got to get creative with it. And like you said, seems like you guys have been looking at creative ways in terms of the spring league. Could you kind of take us into what those creative things have been discussed about?
For sure. I can give you a couple examples of things we've done. In our fall league, for instance, we wanted to fit in a lot of games for kids to play in a short amount of time. So we did some things where we would have teams play a Friday night game under the lights on one of the tackle fields where we would set up. And it's kind of a cool thing. Play a little bit later in the evening, and the lights are on the field. And I mean, anyone who's played football under the lights knows it's a pretty cool experience already. And when you get to come out there and play tackle or flag, it's a cool thing. So we're looking at things like that. We're looking at maybe potentially, we've talked of maybe adding a third. We usually play double headers. We've talked about maybe adding a third game in those evenings because we're getting into the summer. Sun goes down a little bit later. Maybe we can even have teams play a third game, especially for those teenage groups that 3 hours of flag football is not that big a deal for them. They would quite enjoy it. So maybe we'll do something like that. So we're looking at some different things to make sure we can get these kids a chance to play. Because I live with two flag players in my house. I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old who both love the game. They play and they ref and they desperately want to get out there. And I understand everyone's pain with missing football right now.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine. I played flag, I don't know, when I was starting at 9 years old, went all the way up into the age max, the aging out age, which is grade 11 year when I turned 17. And yeah, flag football is an amazing game, and it's just unfortunate we haven't been able to see that this season yet. But hopefully we get to see it soon. In terms of just summer leagues and stuff, in terms of just the plans for fall leagues, I guess, coming up in terms of tackle and stuff with the new protocols that you guys are going to put out eventually. How are we going to see the fall season and the summer leagues as well pan out this year if it allows to happen?
Well, once again, flexibility and creativity rule the day. So I talk to our league executives, the member leagues, pretty consistently. Every couple of weeks, we have conversations. I update them with things as we learn things through the province and Sport Manitoba. We share those with our members so that we can all be ready to go on a moment's notice, because things change so quickly. And we're seeing down in the States now, and even in some of the Canadian provinces, things are opening up, and we're a little bit behind in that regard. So we want to be ready to go. So I can't give you a firm answer in terms of how things will look right now. We're confident that there will be football played. There will be tackle football played in this province at some point this summer and into the fall. And it's probably going to be smaller sided to start, and we'll grow back into what we're more used to as a traditional form of football, 12-a-side, things like that. But we will get to that point. I am very confident that we will be able to do that as vaccination numbers rise and we get to a safe place to have groups together. I think we're going to see football this summer. And I mean, they're talking a CFL season in August as well. It's exciting to just have. I've talked to Coach Doby with the Bisons. They're excited. I've talked to the Rifles as well, and they're excited about getting going. So I think everyone just wants. I mean, football is a great sport. We all know it, and we want people to have the opportunity to play.
Yeah, and amazing if the CFL can come back, because I'm going to be honest, I missed it. last year. I'm sure a lot of people missed it who watched that game. And yeah, just a side note, everyone, please get vaccinated as soon as possible. It isn't going to hurt. It's only going to make things better. And I honestly think it's a no-brainer myself. I have my appointment booked for June 7th, so that's exciting to get the first dose. But yeah, just talking about the meetings that you've had, Football Manitoba has had throughout the last time that we talked. I believe it was back in September. Yeah, just talking about, you talked about how you guys are looking at creative ways to schedule stuff, but what have been the meetings in general since the last time we talked? How have they been like?
Well, we've had. I feel like all I do is sit here and talk to my computer screen lately. So I have a lot of meetings going on. I meet with league executives. I meet with Sport Manitoba. Sport Manitoba is a conduit for us to meet with Manitoba Health. We have officials coming in. We've met with Dr. Jazz Atwal a couple times about things and how we can make it look in terms of a safe way to have sport return for youth. So there's been a lot of those kinds of things, those sorts of things. And we've also done a lot of things to try and streamline the process for us as an organization. It's we've looked at it as found time, basically. We've had a year now where we haven't been as busy on a day-to-day basis as we normally are, especially this time of year. Like, I mean, normally we're running pretty ragged with our office staff of 3. We're pretty busy with high performance teams and flag and tackle all happening at the same time. We have we're getting ready for a high school season. Normally at this point, we're just coming out of spring camps and we're talking about a fall season. We're looking at minor football. The girls tackle league MGFA is usually running at this point. So usually it's really, really busy for us. We've had some time. We've changed our registration platform over to Team Linked, which is a Canadian company, and it's going really well with that. We use that for our flag season. We'll be using that for our other leagues going forward as well. We looked at our insurance options. We've changed our insurance providers, things like that, little details that normally you never have time for. We've had a chance to do. So it's been, we've tried to, as you said, optimism. We've tried to put a positive spin on some things. It's found time. Let's take advantage of it. Let's try and increase our efficiency a little bit as an organization as well.
Yeah, all you can do is stay optimistic during this time, and it's great that you guys have been able to do so. So, just in terms of the return to play protocols, in terms for leagues besides the spring league, what's going to be? Is there going to be like a time period before that players have to, get in groups and practice to get into game shape before the season starts, or can you guys just go full throttle right into it once the restrictions allow you guys to play some football again?
Well, I've been talking. One of the other sets of meetings I've been having a lot of. I've been meeting with Football Canada and with my provincial counterparts, because we're in a unique position here in Manitoba where we're a little bit behind everybody else in terms of COVID numbers and case counts and things. So where Ontario and Alberta were a month ago, that's where we are now. So we're seeing what they're doing now. And for instance, Saskatchewan just starts, tackle football resumes today in Saskatchewan. Today's their first day back. So it's kind of a cool thing because we can look at what they're doing and see what's working. They're starting in smaller sided. It's going to be the same here, I'm sure. The province is going to come out and tell us, hey, your outdoor group sizes is going from 0, where we're at right now, to 50 people, which would be a tackle football game, even a practice, would be a 50-person limit. I think they're going to tell us things like 10 people and 20 people. So we're going to have to adapt as we move along. And it's going to be things like, hey, you're doing small-sided training right now with only 10 people at the field. Next week, it'll go up to 25, and maybe you can play a 6-on-6, 9-on-9 type game. And then hopefully we get to the point where we're at 50 or 100 people, and all of a sudden we can say, hey, you can play 12-side tackle football. So I think it's going to be a very slow resumption. I think the other thing to consider is we have a bunch of kids who are going to be coming back, especially at the minor level, who are coming back to football after over a year away. We're going to have to bring them in very gradually just for the sake of their own safety and well-being. We don't want kids going out there and who have no idea how to tackle and block and things anymore with proper technique. And we want to make sure we polish up their skills for a week or two before we throw them out there into a game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it's awesome that, even though we are a month behind in places like Saskatchewan and Ontario, other places in the country, it's great for you guys just being able to see what works, like you said. Just, do you think that's a blessing in disguise, even though the numbers are not great here in Manitoba right now? Just having that opportunity, like you said, to sit back and learn to just put out the best product that you guys can put out.
Well, I mean, it's an incredibly unfortunate situation we're in, where
Yeah.
we have people getting so sick in the numbers that they are. However, I think that we can only do what we can do, right? So there's health orders in place, there's laws in place that limit what we can do for the safety of those involved. So we're going to make the most of that. If it means that we can only have 6 or 12 people out there, and it's an opportunity to look at what the other provinces are doing, we're going to take advantage of it. We're not going to just sit back and wait. We're gonna try and be proactive and be as on top of things as we can.
Just diving into some cool things that Football Manitoba has been able to do. I know that you probably don't have much involvement in this, but you probably gotten to see these things. Just the human podcast that you guys put out, podcasts and stories from Football Manitoba, as well as there's a series detailing Manitoba minor football clubs. So, just how cool has it been to have these type of ways to just get messaging out for content to be created during this time to just keep people entertained with the different stories that have been being put out by Football Manitoba.
It's fantastic to be able to highlight some of the awesome individuals we have involved in football in this province. So that's been kind of cool. But I can tell you also, the Human Podcast is it's a really neat project we put together. We worked with Too Good Consulting on it. Dr. Adrienne Leslie Too Good's a sports psychologist here in Winnipeg, and I've worked with her in the past in some other endeavors. And we were talking about this. We just thought this is a really cool opportunity to take lessons learned by some of the more influential people in our football community. So the first person we interviewed was Andrew Harris, and that was a kind of a cool thing.
Wow.
I mean, he's an awesome guy. And then we took some lessons from that. So some of the things he talked about in terms of perseverance and some of the things he's gone through and still come out on top of the football world ultimately with the Grey Cup and the MVP and everything in his hands a couple of years back. In the last football game we saw the Bombers play, actually, it was there was a lot of lessons that came from that, and we put those into documents as well. So those are all on our website now. And we've actually had some of our teams, a couple of high school tackle teams, and a couple other groups have actually taken that material and they're using it with their teams now. Well, they have to. I mean, all you can do is things virtually right now, right? You can't get in person and practice, so they're using that and helping them prepare mentally and cognitively for to be better football players just by using these materials that have been put together for them. So it's kind of a neat thing. I'm pretty happy with how that whole series turned out.
Yeah, that's incredible. Just having Andrew Harris on, who I believe is the best running back in the Canadian Football League right now, one of the best players of all time, just putting it like that. And yeah, human, it's just the human podcast. Every letter kind of stands for something in that. So can you break down what the H, the U, the M, the A, and the N means in the human podcast?
Now you're putting me on the spot. I don't remember what they all stand for exactly off the top of my head.
I
Yeah.
forgot to write it down, but yeah, that's no worries. I'm sure that people will be able to find it. So where can we find all these stories and these podcasts to listen to or watch them?
They're all linked right off of our website. So you go to footballmanitoba.com, and there's a whole page dedicated to the human series, and all of the resource materials are listed there as well. The different interviews. I mean, I mentioned Andrew Harris, but we interviewed a ton of influential people in the football community who have spectacular stories and some really good lessons for us all to take away from it. So it's really good. I would suggest people check it out.
Well, that's awesome, Bill. Of course, go check all those podcasts out, especially the Human Podcast on Football Manitoba's website. I'll link it in the description. I'll remember to do it this time as I didn't link stuff in last week's episode, like I said. But yeah, Bill, thank you so much for taking the time on this Monday and joining me on Rise and Shine Manitoba. It was great to talk again.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Graeme. Take care.
Yeah, no problem. You take care, Bill. And that was Bill Johnson, Executive Director of Football Manitoba. Join me on this edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. And Bill is the only guest today in this show, but in today's edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. But this isn't where the show is going to end. Coming back after the break, I'm going to have a special reveal for you guys that I'm sure you'll all be excited about. Stick around on this edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. We'll play some commercial breaks right now to get you guys hyped up for the reveal I'm about to reveal after these commercial breaks here on ASTV.
Big Systems Beauty College is a little bit unique in respect to the way we teach our program. We don't do so much structure and learning and block teaching. Everybody can move along at the pace that suits them. Everybody can move along at the pace that suits them. If they can move faster, they do so. Therefore, learning everything earlier and getting more practice in all segments of hairstyling as opposed to just being stuck in one section for a certain period of time. So we try to accommodate all the different learning styles.
Welcome back to this edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba here on ASTV Productions. Of course, if you've been joining us today, watching the show, we appreciate it. Of course, for anybody that is watching this, of course, our Facebook streams have the ability for you to add comments. We don't have that on YouTube since we have our videos set made for kids, so comments aren't able to be generated on our YouTube page. But if you're joining us on Facebook, since it is Rise and Shine Manitoba, since I do want to hear from you guys just how your morning's going, where you guys are at, if you're on the road, if you're at home, if you're at work, whatever you're doing. I'd love to hear from you. Just drop down a comment and I'll be able to pop it up and interact with you. But yeah, I talked about how there's a reveal that I want to reveal to you guys on today's edition of the show. Even though we only have one guest, I'd say that it's still exciting again to be able to reveal this today. And this goes back to last week's episode of the show when I had the Deluxe Boys on. Parker, Hudson, Seth, and Alexander joined me, the creators of that brand. They also had some help creating it with their cousin. And what I said was I'd be purchasing a $100 gift card from them and doing a gift card giveaway. And it was supposed to be announced today, but I had a chance to talk to my boss. We worked out a plan, and we're actually going to be doing a month-long gift card giveaway, a $100 gift card giveaway with the Deluxe Boys. And it's pretty awesome. We designed a graphic, just got to make that bigger here. But yeah, basically a $100 gift card giveaway, and there's some pretty cool stuff that you guys can, get to purchase with this $100. Some pretty sweet stuff on their website that you can purchase to get this stuff. It's very exciting what we're going to be doing with them throughout this whole month. We're going to be doing a month-long giveaway. So I believe we're going to be announcing the winner on Monday, June 28th. So Monday, June 28th is when we're going to announce the winner. And yeah, basically how you can enter is very simple. If you have Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or you only have one of those, or if you have all three of those, that's great too. But those are where you can enter to potentially win this $100 gift card with the Deluxe Boys. You can check us out on Facebook at ASTV Productions. And the rules to enter are simple on all platforms. I'm just going to break it down platform by platform. So for Facebook, to enter, you got to react, share, and tag a friend to enter to win, as well as follow ASTV Productions. And you can, on Instagram, for Instagram, you like, share, and tag a friend. So you'd share the post on your story there, and you also follow ASTV Productions there to enter the gift card giveaway. And also on Twitter, it's the same thing basically. You like, retweet, and tag a friend to enter to win, and also follow us on our Twitter as well. You can DLAX Boys is also going to be partnered with us, obviously promoting this as well, just to get some eyes on the great stuff that they've been doing. I'm going to put down a link to their Instagram this time. I'm also going to do it put it in the description of last week's episode, since I forgot to do that. But yeah, DLAX Boys, they're also going to be promoting it as well throughout this month on their Instagram. You can check them out at DLAX Boys, or DLAX Boys, my apologies, on their Instagram. And you can also check out some of the cool stuff that you could be winning on their website at delaxboys.com. They got a wide variety of hoodies, t-shirts, hats, accessories, and some other things as well. So yeah, the winner will be chosen randomly on June 28th on Rise and Shine Manitoba live. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, it's going to be chosen in random, no matter how many people enter, or with how many people that enter, we're just going to put them into a list and give them a number. And yeah, we're going to do a randomizer, and whoever gets picked wins the $100 gift card, and we'll be able to send it to you. So yeah, that's basically it. Be sure to follow us on ASTV Productions on Facebook, ASTV Productions on Instagram, Amateur Sports TV on Twitter. Follow the DLAX Boys as well. We're going to be putting details out about how you can win the giveaway, like I did in this episode, in the description of those posts. And yeah, it should be a very, very interesting time of this giveaway. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm personally so excited for it. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. I know that we didn't have the same number of guests as last time. We only had one guest joining the show, Bill Johnson, Executive Director of Football Manitoba. I want to thank Bill for coming on and taking the time in today's episode of being the guest of Rise and Shine Manitoba and keeping us updated of just what's going on with Football Manitoba. It seems like he's very optimistic, which is awesome to see. I also want to thank all of the viewers for tuning in today as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you join us again next Monday on Rise and Shine. And I also want to thank the sponsors in today's episode for sponsoring today's edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. I'll be back on Rise and Shine Manitoba next Monday with another lineup of guests for another episode. Airs at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, so that's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time if you're somewhere in Saskatchewan. But yeah, this is a Manitoba show, so Central Daylight Time is when you'll want to watch it, and it's 10 a.m. our time here in Manitoba next Monday for another edition of Rise and Shine. But until then, folks, I've been your host of Rise and Shine Manitoba, Graeme Forsyth, signing off now. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and until next Monday, I'll hope to see you then. Peace.